Okay, so we will not waste time, but to begin, with the program this morning on ELBC, as we initially said, we're going to be looking firstly at the county meet. You had a very elaborate, I say elaborate because I saw the euphoria, in Monrovia, the SKD went on fire. Uh, and someone say, Lofa County allowed, Nimba, they gave the sword to Nimba too. So tell us, how was the entire county meet? How did it go?
Well, the county meet was very successful, and for some reason, this year's county meet, I don't know because it was a bicentennial edition, it came out kind of a different, spectacular faction, and the county meet was successful, and I want to thank our team, the chairman for the first time. We had a female chairman of the National County Sports Meet, Deputy Minister Audrey Smith Forbes.
Okay, the Deputy Minister for Administration?
Administration, she
Okay.
was the chairman of this year's county meet and the first female chairman. And I thought the organization was great. Our entire team, the Department of Sports, even all the counties in basketball.
Yeah, the
Kickball.
basketball was a new addition, right?
No, it was not new. We had basketball last year.
Oh, okay.
We
But
have
this one, they
basketball.
had a lot of publicity on it.
Yeah. And it was great. And Sano County, of course, emerged victorious in the basketball version. And that game was such a nail biter because it was like Monserrato was in the lead.
Oh, my
it was
God.
there 10 seconds to the game, 2 point lead,
Sino.
no 1 point lead. And this kid from Sino, man, came
Oh,
from
my
a three-pointer. And Sano sealed the day. But it was an exciting game. The president was also in the gym.
Okay, he went to watch the game.
Yeah, it was an exciting game. But overall, the county meet was very successful. I tell people all the time, for government, we don't conduct county meet for profit making in terms of finances. No.
Okay.
County meet is conducted to bring our people together.
But it seems to me that this year's county meet, we saw a lot of people affiliating because when the sponsors were announced, and I know the major sponsor was Asola Meta. I know they gave support to the different counties. But when they were announcing sponsors this year, I might be right, probably if I'm wrong rather, if I'm wrong, you correct me. It seems to be that there are a lot of people associating with the county meets now in terms of, support. I don't know the level of support, but the names I heard being called on the radio, like, people getting interest in the county meet.
Well, yes, county meet always, it draws a lot of businesses. And we had some folks who had not identified with county meet before,
Okay.
and they came on board. That tells you that the county meet did attract some other people after the ArcelorMittal announcement. And we got to give it to ArcelorMittal too because at least the initial amount that started the county meet was funds provided by them.
Okay.
And then other sponsors came on board, like Winners.
Okay.
The betting company never been part of the county meet, and they were not an official sponsor, but they came out with the cash prizes.
Can you imagine
of
that?
2 million
Wow.
to buttress the efforts of EcoBank as well.
EcoBank
So-
was one of the sponsors.
Yeah, EcoBank have been our sponsor for the last county meet.
Oh,
They
okay.
gave the cash prizes, and they gave some cash prizes this year, but Winners came and then topped that up what they were giving. So it was good that at least the winner took away 1 million Liberian.
1 million?
Yeah, Nima County.
Wow.
And it was great, and then there were individuals that were given as well. So
Okay.
I thought the thing is that
Individual awards, including the MVP.
yeah,
the higher goal score.
beside the trophy he got, he got 50,000 Liberian dollars as
Wow.
well.
That's something to start your day.
Oh yeah, look at it this way: it was 50,000 you did not have before.
Yeah.
So,
That's great. But let's look at, before we go to the different programs, let's look at the final. I saw the state right now. I know you have capacity issue. I don't know how that was handled this year, but guess what? One thing I saw that was different from the previous, county meets was that in the communities there were kids and parents, who didn't care to go on the stadium. They were watching the game live.
Yes.
Every part of Monrovia.
And one of the good things that social media has done for us, that even outside the stadium, you saw that there were many people outside the stadium, probably as compared to those within the stadium.
Yeah.
So, in fact, what the president has suggested, and we want to make sure we do that, is that we need to have a big television screen outside the stadium.
So people can watch from there.
Yeah, because it's still got capacity problem.
Yes,
The fee used to be 35,000 because the bucket seats were around 23,000 now. And so, but you got more people coming. Even you saw the field that it was overcrowded. And, so it means that.
And I saw some people staying in the buckets. That was like I said, wow. I was just imagining how you were feeling when you saw people
the thing
staying.
is that it's not a good thing because just imagine the semi-final game, the spectators, some of them, they uprooted 45 of the bucket seats.
Can you imagine
They
that?
had to put them back for the final game 57.
Wow.
And people need to understand taxpayer money is the one that get the fee going. We have to protect everything you see out there. Why do you root up 57 bucket seats? Whether you were upset or you enjoy it, it doesn't mean that you should destroy things. But this is Liberia, so we just have to keep talking to people to, every time you're on, you've been supposed to protect the property, but you yourself gotta help to protect the property. You go to the game and you uproot in the bucket seats. Come on now.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, people were happy. The tournament ended well.
Okay.
And then successfully, peacefully. And Nima County maintained her championship because she was champion last year.
Yeah, Lofa gave it to
And
me.
Lofa also maintained the Kickball Championship. Well, they say Lofa gave it to that. I mean, we frown on match fixing. So I don't know the validity of that information.
No, once I give it because to allow Nimba to come to Monrovia.
But what I'm saying, we don't encourage match fixing. So I can speak to that. But Nima came as defending champion, and quite frankly, Nima played
Yes.
as a defending champion.
I saw that.
They were all over. They were going for the football. They were just all over the place like a hungry lion.
I know before we go to the next subject, I was like thinking, I said, look, the Minister of Youth and Sports, I know he enjoys the game, but the position you're in, how do you manage? Because even the commentators, including Kolba Zize, you could see that when Lofa were moving, his voice would increase, when they score Lofa, his voice decreases, then I'm saying the Minister of Youth and Sports, how does he support his county? He cannot voice it out. He can show it. How do you people manage this?
Well, we are all human. We all come from counties. In mine with an S because I have several of them that I'm connected to.
Oh, okay.
And so, if you saw the game, Maggie played. Maggie scored. I was all and when Lofa also scored a first goal because my mother comes from Lofa.
Oh, wow.
My mother comes from Zosa
Zosa
district.
district.
So I have that connection to Lofa.
Okay.
And so, especially when the song was being played, I was doing my little thing.
That's a good one. It's a good beginning, I tell you. It was a successful tournament, even though my heart was broken. Bone County was defeated. I felt so bad. And then
They won the favorite, but I don't know what happened in Monrovia.
yes. Anyway, that's something we're talking about in our country now. Lofa, we all started supporting Lofa now. No way again. So we just hear our own man. Okay. So you play a critical role. Now we were talking about sports. Besides the county meet, I know. What are other sporting programs, at the ministry outside of the county meet that the ministry to stay, supporting, promoting?
Well, firstly, the Ministry of Youth and Sports conducts the Interministerial League.
Okay.
and then we do the national county sports meet. We do up-country basketball.
Up country.
Also, of these activities, each of the various federations implement government policy on a specific discipline. Say, for instance, the Liberia Football Association implement government policy on football. The same is true for basketball, athletics, and what have you. And honor the leadership, stewardship of His Excellency Dr. George Manawia, Liberia has done a lot in sports development. But the pundits will only focus on the national team.
Okay.
And you don't build sporting program just for the senior national team. You build football from the grassroots. And that is why the current leadership of Liberia Football Association, Mr. Mustafa Raji, and his team, we discussed the no government vision, the president's vision, and they have been implementing that. Today, we are developing football from the grassroots all over the country. The LFA runs the Honor 12 League, they run the Honor 15 League, they get the Honor 17, all in. That's a group. There where, in fact, the young player, the number 9 from Nimba County, who won the MVP and highest scorer. If I tell you, you may not believe it. He's 16 years of age.
My God.
He for Honor 17 national team.
That's a kid.
Coach Keita, that's one of his brother from Morel Football Academy. So that's how you develop football. And you saw that little bit of talent. You saw how forceful he was. The skills he had.
The mindset.
That's where we develop football from. And that is exactly what is happening today in this country. And people need to look at that and just start focusing on the national team, No. The national team, yes, we got to build our national team because the caliber of players we had yesterday, we don't have those players today. Even our league today, our national league, is not compared to the league yesterday when we were playing.
That's true.
So this is a gradual process, but what is important is that we are now building football from the grassroots. And all over the Liberia Football Association are done tremendously well, carry on the vision of the president. And that is why last year we participated into every major competition. Even women football is on the increase now in this country. Never before had there been women football on the increase. So on the sport is how we're doing athletics. We set world record. Went to the Olympics.
Okay.
If you follow the Tokyo Olympics,
Famule.
for the first time, Liberia went to the 200-meter final. And when Famula went to that competition, he was number 20 in the world.
Wow.
And at the end of the tournament, he was number 5. First time Liberia ever went to the final.
I was proud when I saw the flag of Liberia.
The same with Ebony Morrison. She was 136 in the 100-meter hurdles. At the end of the Tokyo Olympic, she was 13 in the world. They went to the World Games again in July last year. Famula again in the World Games, Liberia the first time, went to the finals in the 200-meter. He came number 4. So Liberia has been on the increase, and we shouldn't just look at football. Look at other sports. Even the Special Olympics for people with disability. Liberia took 5 athletes to the UAE, came back with 4 gold medals and a bronze medal. You don't overlook those things.
4 gold medals.
And, you know, that's huge for us, for the Special Olympics. People with disability, because this president believes nobody should be left behind. Whatever talent you have, whether you are disabled or not, you must be maybe able to fulfill your own life. Whatever your dreams and aspirations must be on display. And these athletes were taken on this leadership. Liberia first time participating in the Special Olympics. These are things we must hail. We must not look at people because, the person is in this category and we downplay what they have done. Because the whole United States carry over 300 athletes. Other countries, a lot of athletes went to the Special Olympics. And Liberia took 5. And we came back with 4 gold medal and a bronze medal. It's huge for us. We must hail those kind of achievements.
Wow, that's great. There are many good things happening in Liberia, but, and I think this is the way we talk about them. Like, it's not all worse in Liberia here,
No, it is not. It is not. But people tend to portray Liberia. I'll tell you a story. Recently, my nephew, never been to Liberia before, an American citizen born in the United States. He decided he was coming to Liberia for vacation in December. The very day the kid landed here, He said, Uncle Dexter, I want to go to the club. And he was all over the place. When it was time for him to leave, he told me, I'm depressed. I said, why? He said, Uncle,
The freedom here.
I'm missing Liberia already. And these are the things we're talking about. He tells me, he said, look, when you go on social media, you don't want to come to Liberia. But
Which is
I
true.
decided to come. And I don't regret it. I will come every year. Just imagine. Somebody who never been to Liberia before. First day he landed here, he said, I want to go to the club. And he have fun.
Yeah.
This is Liberia, my people.
Nobody going to take gun and shoot you in the club.
Exactly.
You know? So there are so many good things in our country.
Exactly.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think a lot being said about sports, and I think the ministry is doing well in some of the areas you just mentioned. But when it comes to the young people, we all know that they contribute a lot to economic development. They are aware, of the word around them that I just mentioned about the young man, and some of the problems that they need to address. Young people are aware, but all of this means that they are very prime. They are in a prime of very key position to take on a leading role in economic development, and that will require skills being provided, and then of course I normally say the young people are pretty much the engine of any economy, because when they are trained, they get involved with small businesses. Some of them they are actually, you're talking about the jobs. By the time someone is aging, they are out. Okay, so what workforce do you have? Especially in a country like ours, you need middle level professionals. Yeah, not everybody with a PhD, masters, but you need a middle level professionals that Liberia has been facing a problem with. Because I said this to you a couple of years ago. I wanted to build a house. I had to get people from different countries who are in Liberia. They are residents here. They are the one in there. But then I know there've been a lot of interventions. So I want you to really throw light, on the different programs. I know you got a youth rising project. You got, of course, the RX youth started now supporting, reintegration through TVET. That's one of your programs. As well as the Realize, that's what I meant earlier. Realize. So where are we, with everything surrounding young people, the different programs, and so forth?
Well, thank you so much. Again, we have been running projects predominantly financed by our development partners. For instance, the World Bank, SIDA, the Swedish government, the African Development Bank, the EU, European Union, of course, the one UN system. So we successfully completed a program called YOP, the Youth Opportunities Project, that benefited a little over 14,000 young people. One component that was the class component, the community livelihood and agriculture support, was in all 15 counties. And under this project, young people were put in the group of 28 to cultivate 35 acres of farmland in all 15 political subdivisions. And as part of that program, each person in that group received what we call labor subsidy. Beside the tools, supplement, we gave them money for tools. Each person within the group of 28 benefited $450 United States dollars.
Each person?
Each person. Wow. They benefited $450 United States dollars.
Meant for what?
Labor subsidy, okay. Because the project was for them to cultivate 35 acres of farmland.
Okay.
Different crops. They sold the crops, made money from it. Some of them engaged in different projects. There are so many sources to run a program that today young people in all 15 counties are in the program. The program ended, but they are still benefiting from their farm. Another component of that program was the small business social support. That 2,300 plus young people within Monrovia benefited from small businesses in their around town. Okay, and they were given funding to do their small businesses, and they have their businesses up and running. That was your. Now, we also, when the president went to France in 2018, a lot of people said the president just wanted to visit his friend, Macron. No. The first amount that came to this country after that visit was $4 million Europe. There was a program that was run by Mercy Cup and the Ministry of Youth and Sports called LEAP, the Liberia Entrepreneurship and Employment Program, in 3 counties, Grand Bassa, Margibi, and Monserrado counties. And over 11,000 youth benefited from the program in the 3 counties. In fact, on the Ministry of Youth and Sport, we reintroduced the Youth on the Job Training Program as well as the National Youth Service Program. And on the National Youth Service Program, we recruited graduates from the graduate in education, in health, and in agriculture. Those were the 3 areas we recruited graduates from. We sent them to the 3 ministries that assigned them. And for 10 months, they were receiving transportation allowance of a little over $250 over 10 months under this program. We also had another company called the YOJT, Youth on the Job Training. This program was designed for illiterate and semi-illiterate youth who were assigned to master trainer. They would give them transportation allowance on the program, give them toolkit, everything. And the program ended successfully. In fact, over 7,000 of the young people benefited from business training, where they were giving seed money to do their own business in 83 counties. And the program ended July of last year, the LEAP program. Over 11,000 young people in it. Now, as a result of the successful implementation of YOP, the World Bank decided at our request, and thanks to your boss who also wrote the letter of request, World Bank came up with Realize. Realize is a COVID intervention program for Greater Monrovia that will benefit 19,000 beneficiaries in Greater Monrovia. One company will benefit 15,000. That is the labor intensive public work. And the other component is small business support again.
Is it the one you have the young people cleaning the communities, the villages?
Exactly. That's the labor intensive public work part of it. Then the component 1 has to do with the small business social support. That 4,000 young people.
And how much each of them getting from that project?
900 United States.
900 US dollars?
Yes. Wow. That's what they are getting. In fact, we just ended round 1. We are about to do round 2 of recruitment. In fact, the World Bank also provide additional financing of 20 million United States dollars.
Carrying into what, 30 billion now? Initially, what was that, 10 million?
It was 10 million.
Yes.
It's going to 30. Wow. And it will go beyond that because we are still expecting 9 million to come from the French government, and we're looking at some, we don't know the exact figure coming from the Swedish government. So Realize is expanding. Realize is expanding, and more Liberian young people will be put to work in the various communities, and also they will be put to work by establishing their own businesses, and then existing businesses will also be able to increase their productivity because there will be funding for them, for those who qualify for the program. That's on a Realize. Okay, with World Bank, as a government has its own program called TESI. It's the Temporary Employment of Community Youth. Last budget year, we were able to, 1 million were given the budget for that project. We were able to put 1,193 young people to work on a TESI. And this year we had the same amount in the budget. And we intend to put them to work again on this thing to get young people involved, active, and doing something than being idle. Okay? So there are things we are doing to benefit young people. We have an innovative lab at the SKD. Okay, it's on our program Youth Connect. We are training over 800 young people in entrepreneurship because for us, we believe that entrepreneurship, and I will speak to my colleague Prof. Sony, we need to make sure we can have entrepreneurship as a curriculum.
Is it one of the BDOIC?
BDOTC.
BOTC
is one of our vocational schools.
Oh, okay.
In fact, that is the most successful vocational school we run.
So you focus on females?
All girls.
Okay.
All girls. And every time we put our graduates at the day of graduation, almost more than half of the students have already gotten gainful employment. That school has been very successful. If you go to most of the restaurants in Monrovia and Navarro,
So it's all about
waitresses,
hospitality.
that's it.
Okay.
And that is why honor you, Razi, and honor the French government, IECD. Hospitality is a focus of the French. We're going to build a mini hotel at the SKD
Okay.
for the BDOTC,
For practical?
for practicum as well as fund generation
Okay.
for the school. Strictly hospitality, and that's on the youth rising project. In fact, also youth rising and the French government on youth rising. You know, MVDC is on youth and sports. MVDC has a production unit now in work. The state of the art equipment have been installed. We're just waiting for time. I gotta speak to my colleague, Prof. Shoni,
Okay.
for the
So
commission.
it's a
that-
collaboration between
Oh yeah, the
Ministry
youth
of
and sports
Education.
and education are the beneficiary of youth rising.
Okay.
In fact, Tottenham High also has a production unit in Woolworth as well. So both Tottenham High and NVDC will be competing in the private market,
Wow.
furniture market with other businesses because our students have state-of-the-art equipment. The dream of the president is to have TVET institution, state-of-the-art TVET institution in all.
And I
50
see
towns.
that happening.
And thankfully, we have been able to secure funding from the EU to cover the rest of the 8 counties because we are calling in 7 counties. And those counties have state-of-the-art equipment that you can find anywhere in the world. Those are the equipment our staff now, our students will be trained on. In fact, we have over 40 teachers
40
all over
teachers.
the country. Over. There are 120 teachers we will send us to Liberia for training in South Africa, Kenya, and Zambia. We have over 40 of them already in training. In fact, we have a group at Salamitel
Okay.
in Lamco, Yekepa, doing welding and fabrication.
Okay.
Okay,
Part
who
of the
have-
training.
Yeah, they have come from all the country. They are there now doing
Ah.
additional training. So we are building the capacity of our teachers to make sure they can impart knowledge into our students, to make them competitive on the market, in the local market. And all of our TV institutions, those on education and on youth and sports, will each have a production unit that they will be able to produce and compete with other businesses, which is very good. It will make our young graduates competitive. We have graduated over 5,000 young people at MVDC since the government came to power.
5,000.
Over 5 have graduated in different trades. But with this state-of-the-art equipment now, we are building that capacity more that they can be more competitive because the equipment we used before where they were all obsolete. We are now dealing with modern art equipment that they have been trained on and their teachers have been trained to come back. And one of the criteria that in the contract was that when these teachers come back, we must put them on government payroll. But
Okay.
guess what? 2 years before they even left this country, we already put on government payroll.
Wow. So that means they were on training while their
They were
family
already-
getting money
before they
here.
even left, they were on the payroll. And when they left, their money still rolling.
They're in training.
So we met that criteria. What we are working on now, one of the criteria is that they must be somehow autonomous. So we are working on it. We had IMTF meeting, UN meeting.
Yes.
And we're working on that to make sure we can live up to part of the agreement. It's very important.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
you know, so
TV wants to run away from
where they can
even sports and education.
they will still be guarded, you know, because I think we need to give them that level of autonomy.
Okay.
It was government continuity.
Okay.
The previous government negotiated that.
And this
We
government.
saw it. We followed through on that. But what is important is that our young students will be trained with modern equipment. Look at today, on the CU Rising, we have a center of excellence at BWR.
Center of Excellence.
Yes, at BWR, where people can go there and be on TOT. We don't have to send people for us library to be TOT anymore. We use the center of excellence right at BWR, fully furnished. They're equipped.
These are really great news, you know. So I'm just thinking how this is being managed? Because, like you said, I follow most of the TV conversations, so I have a lot of idea on some of the real great things that are happening in TVET. So I'm just concerned, about how we even get the folks. Now it's good that they've been decentralized at the multilaterals, in the different countries, which is something that never happened for a very long time now. I think that the president, government has really, really paid a lot of attention to that. But I'm also thinking about, that the MVDC, how we get opportunities given to other people outside of Monrovia. I'm happy that two of my brothers from my hometown in Bone County, I encourage them to come here, and they are currently here to be graduating this year from Bone County in SKT. But I'm just thinking how other counties, people from other areas, how do they get the opportunity? Because MVDC, there are a lot of great things happening there, like you just mentioned, different free areas. So how do we get in terms of recruitment? Do we MVDC, about to open? I know I'm hearing next month or so to start recruitment. Do we send a message outside of Monrovia?
Oh yeah. We advertise that MVDC is for everybody,
Okay.
and we are hoping that we can get all the rest of the TVS schools will be
Okay.
all the counties, so you don't have to leave Bon County or come to MVDC. You can stay in Bon County and go to a state-of-the-art TVS institution there. But for those, there are people who come from other counties, they come to MVDC. And in fact, we do provide up to 600 scholarships every year.
Yes, I know that. 600.
600 scholarships
Yes.
for deserving students at MVDC. We do all of that.
Wow.
And, so the same with BDOTC. We provide scholarship for deserving students. And it's our hope that in the not too distant future, we'll be able to eliminate the issue of people paying tuition.
Okay.
But for now, we get there at a minimum. We reduce the tuition at BDOTC.
Okay.
We look forward to reducing tuition to at MVDC, so that students can be able to afford. Because the president believes that no child should be left behind, irrespective of a level of education.
That's true.
There are some folks now who may not want to go to regular school, but they can learn trades, and they're good at trades. So we need to provide an opportunity. That is why in the TVET, we have two sectors. We have the formal sector,
Okay.
like on the Ministry of Education, or the multilateral, or BWR, those are the formal sector. And the informal sector, under the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and that's the largest sector. And the difference between the two is that you don't have to be a high school graduate to go to FVDC.
You don't have to be?
You don't have to. That's why the informal sector, you can be a high school dropout. You can be a high school graduate, you go there, but it is not a criteria that you must be
At
a high
MVDC?
school, at MVDC, at any vocational school on the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The same is true for BDOTC. That's why it makes it the informal sector. Because many of the kids out there are high school dropout who don't have the desire to go to high school anymore. They want to learn trade. So we provide them the opportunity. And that is the vision of the president, that will make sure that each of our folks will have. In fact, you were at the IMTF meeting where we discussed the MCSS, running after school program in vocational education. Because there are a lot of folks that live in the MCSS jurisdiction. That may not want to go to Tottenham High or any MCSS school to go through regular classes, but they want to learn trades. We must provide them that opportunity. So that's why it was a very good suggestion from Prof. Sonny to bring the MCSS boss in to be able to brief us, and let's see what decision can be made, because we must make sure that every child in this country, that's the president's mandate, who wants to learn, who wants to obtain vocational and technical education, must have that opportunity to have a school to go to.
And I can attest to all that he said, because, like he said, I'm in most of those meetings. So there are a lot happening, and as the agriculture minister said the other day, it is a foundation that's been built, and it's not just an event, it's a process. Training sometimes takes some people up to 3-4 years before they are really, because they graduate, they go now to get the hands-on training more, before you see the effect. And I think this is really unprecedented in the TVS sector. I should say this. So the management has given us an opportunity today. They want us to actually delve into the sector that is, because our country, the last census said that we have more than 60% of our population being young people. So if you have a minister who's responsible for this sector, there must be a lot, going on, and that's what he's discussing this morning. So at 45 minutes past 8 o'clock, we take some calls on the first. Then we come down to specific activities on some of the vocational training programs. For example, we're talking about MVDC. So what are the different, synopsis, some of the programs that I did, for example, I know they're doing heavy duty mechanics there because the two young guys from my hometown, they are
they do electricity. They do carpentry. They do masonry.
Okay.
There's computer science they do as well.
Wow.
Welding and fabrication. They are all.
So the welding and fabrication people there.
Yeah. MVDC.
So they have equipment then that they can be able to produce some of the iron doors and other things.
Absolutely.
Wow.
In fact, some of the work at the SKD prior to this company, most of the points on iron doors were done by our the instructor and staff from MVDC.
Just imagine that.
Yeah. So in fact, the training is going on. Like I told you, we have welding and fabrication training going on in with SLMTL for small folks that came from out of the country. They are doing advanced training there to say welding fabrication.
So
electricity, everything.
So these guys should be making a lot of money because the government schools, I'm just looking at the government schools, every year thousands of dollars, call it millions, go into the purchase of furnitures, like chairs, and what are desks or so forth for the different public schools.
So that is why, remember, in the IMTF meeting, we discussed that we're talking about how and MVDC should be able to do those things that would have to go to a different vendor. And even in the Leeward counties, the other vocational schools that are maybe having woodwork as a production unit, they be producing those guys because the money comes right by in the system. And so that's why I said our students will now be competitive in different disciplines in the private sector with other private businesses because we have the equipment to design, for instance, furniture. We can design any kind of a furniture right now at MVDC and Totmaha because we have the equipment to do that.
That is really remarkable, and the government, I think, this continues, the issue of middle level work because I've been worried, Minister, and I say this to you, if you look at the garages we had before. Some of them Liberians, but you have a lot of people coming from neighboring countries. They come open their garages, they do their carpenter shop and so forth. And these people make millions of dollars, So this will help with, not entrepreneurship, but if you have your own small business as a young person, you are able to also employ other Liberians, who can.
And that has been my advocacy. Entrepreneurship, we need to have this curriculum in our TVET institution because many of the young people, the moment they graduate, even at the college and university level, most of them want to work for government. Government cannot be the largest employer in any economy. It's not possible.
Yeah, the private sector.
It is the private sector. But if we begin to teach entrepreneurship to these students while they are in school, that when you graduate from this TVET institution, you can be your own employer.
Yeah.
At least you are learning the basic skills on business skills, business management, how to establish a business. Even on the African Development Bank program, project, HEAP, where that there were 3 institutions, BI, Universal Library, and the Nima County Community College at the time, now Nima University. We built an entrepreneurship center at the Nima County Community University. It is there. And entrepreneurship is being taught at Nima County University at a 1 credit course. We hope they can make it a 3 credit course. And we carry on the business challenges there. And young people, they were proud, they won, and they were looking up to us going and they got some seed money. So entrepreneurship, we need to focus on that to be taught in these TV institutions, even at the university level. So young Liberian, the youth can understand that when you graduate, you can put your skills together, organize yourself. If you are a bunch of guys who are plumbers, you can open your own little business as a plumber.
Yes.
And not wait for government to employ you.
That's true.
And you do it, make it community based. You know, one thing we don't look about that. Look in your community. There are things in your community that many people don't have. They may go way to town. And based on that, because when I went to Uganda 2019 to do what we call a study tour, Uganda has a great youth program that is community based, community focused, and community driven. All the young people that established businesses were in our various communities. Things that were not there, they look.
Yeah, the opportunities.
If I don't have a carpentry shop here, like I went to a university, the students from that university, they were qualified for that project I talked about in Uganda. You know what they did? They opened a pastry shop right by that university. So all their colleagues were coming ready to patronize them. And through that, they opened 3 additional pastry shops in 3 other locations near other universities in Uganda. Straight in that community. They didn't leave that community to go somewhere else. So this is something our young people need to focus on. You live in a community, everybody going in town to go find a tailor. You are a tailor. Open your tailoring shop right in your community, and you get a customer from right there. These are the kind of a thinking we need to have our young people look at.
And I agree with you 100%. Coming up as a young man, I used to have interest in doing different stuff. At some point, I said, well, I could establish a media institution, working. And today, you know, I'm very proud that that worked, and it gave a lot of opportunities to young people today. Some of them work at the very ELBC today, you know, the OKFM and so forth. They came from right there, and it created opportunities for the last 20 years now.
Absolutely.
You know, so that concept is 100%. Start from your community, and it might get bigger, you know, as you go on. So what we'll do before we come to talk about Tumutu and, you know, the other areas that we haven't touched yet, we will want to, because OK will be leaving us. We want to take a few calls, and then we will come back to the minister. And I tell you, President Weah government, through his Minister for Youth and Sports, they've been doing so well in the TVET area. And I say this to you, many countries are developed. Today, if you talk about TVETs, that's a way to go. Electricity is demand driven right now. The demand is so high. So those people who getting skills in electricity, you gotta worry. They'll job right there. Open a small company. When the big companies get their contract, they'll subcontract you to go do all the, you know, the whether it is distribution lines and so forth and whatever. You just get that. So call us on 880-514-096, 080-514-096. That's the number to call, so that those who I know from across Liberia. So let me just also state that in Nimba, we are on Radio Gumpa in Ganta, and then Radio Nimba in Sanikole. So the entire country is listening right now to the Minister of Youth and Sports, who's talking about different things, county meet, and, you know, just name it. So let's take this caller. Okay, so let's take this Yeah, good morning.
I'm after Rings, and I do call from Financeville.
Okay.
I really want to appreciate the minister there. He actually said some things that are touching to youth. But I want to raise a point to this issue of AVDC. I attended AVDC 2019.
Oh, my brother, I'm sorry. I hope you can call back. Just went off the line. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, your name and where you calling from?
I'm Zeogar from
Barakuta. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and let me say a big thank you there to the minister and studio. But you see, he just talked about Bolivian professional student center, which of course, and I get 2 certificates in that school. I went in 2014, I get agree with electricity.
Uh-huh.
First is we put on the largest budget in Pennsylvania, and the two other coming together as either we took it with air condition. But the problem that there is that whenever the permit of go to the ministry for a piece of job, it cannot get the job, and the two all graduates that the government say 100% to China. Since 2018, we say 100% to China. But those 100% that is in China, none of them come from Morgan, for Kenya, sector. So we
Oh,
have today,
training program, right?
yes.
Okay, I think the minister heard that. Yeah, so many people want the opportunities, but just few opportunities. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. This is Nakla Sao. Go ahead.
Okay, my plaza. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Let me say good morning to the minister in studio and good morning to my friend for in the show. I'm Emmanuel Tupa Jr. and I'm joining you this morning from the run office of the Intellectual Alliance in Liberia. Well, I want to appreciate the minister for his exposé on the diverse part of our country, of our institution. I believe that, like I said, in other country in the world, they are not only focused on what we call, this formal education, informal work. There's a need that our society focus on the diverse institution because, especially when you speak to the issue of the MVDC, think under this minister, under this government, this MVDC is being highly prioritized and there's a lot of improvement over there. But my recommendation to the government of Liberia is that, MVDC cannot contain, all of the youth in Montserrat County alone, but there were other people who won't come around. I think the government should try empowering those public schools like the Top Beha, the Gibson, and the G12, and see how they can try to offer some civic education in those very institutions. By the time a person who is in a senior high that is receiving the civic, vocational training, when he comes out in 3 years, you already have, a meal of survival other than her relying on different things or come from high school, you have to go sit home, or you have to try to go to MVDC that cannot contain everyone.
I think that's a major point. We were talking about it recently. Let's go ahead and pick this other caller. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Yep, my brother. Your name and where you calling from?
Thank you. I do call from Upper Maryland County.
Hop Maryland County. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I want to confirm my greeting to the minister in studio. And I just quickly got to the program, or however, I would just like to put a question. Or for the few I have heard from the minister, I'll let it pose my question.
Yeah,
Now,
go
here's
ahead.
my question. The discussion is majoritively on MPDC. Now, we are students from the Southern University. How can we collaborate with these students so that we can get the same opportunity that students in MPDC are getting?
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I think that's a concerning question. Okay, so let's take a few more calls. 080-514-096. That's the number. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, good morning, my brother. Your name and where you calling from?
Well, my name is George J. Crooklyn, and I call from Chester City.
Okay, go
I'm a
ahead.
regular listener to your morning show.
Okay, sister. Hi, sister, this morning.
Yeah, fine. You talk about the TVEC, and I believe it is very important that you decentralize our TVEC institution. We would like that you construct one of that in a place where they call Yapatan.
Yeah, but that the commercial capital for Riverside.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
The citizen and said from their forest border, they already built a building there for the use of vocational school because they saw that the children now riding motorcycle and they don't want to go to school. So I believe you said you have the e-farmer training program, and most of them did not reach up to 6th grade level. So can they be part of the vocational training too? Because most of our children are riding motorcycle and they don't want to go to school. Because those who went to high school and don't want to continue.
Okay, that's a very great concern. Okay, let's take this other caller. Good morning.
morning, Honorable Minister and the two ministers in studio.
Good morning.
The big minister and small minister. Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
Well, congratulations, veteran in Bonkande. My name is Alonso Crejo. I come from District Number 2, Bangas in Bonkande. We're proud of you on the side of the show this morning. But my concern about the minister, we were all here explain. I take key to it because we young people want to have different training that will help hold our mind. Not everyone will want to go to the university when no money. But in Bonkande, we have a training center called the Tumutu Vocational Training Center.
We're coming there.
There was a bill proposed by one of the senators, Senator Dr. Helen Toba, and it was approved. And now it's in the president renovate, and when that bill is approved by the president, Tumutu will be advised, and with a program coming out as a minister, I think it will help we who in Bonkande can have some knowledge that will go over there and have something that will help improve our family. What is your intention when it comes to working along with the senator that so that bill is approved by the president so that we have other programs that will help the young people of Bonkande? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kulenyo. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Selective Widow, and I do know your conversation for strong time. We're attending my secondary school.
Okay, that's the school I started my primary education. Go ahead, brother.
Good morning, Minister.
Good morning.
Let me say thank you for the platform. At least it is welcoming that we have our minister on the radio to exchange word. At least my concern has to do with the issue of the vocational because over the past time we have graduated from high school in Swakutam, West President, and we have one of our high school here that have the landscape. But it is just a recommendation to the minister to look into it. At least Swakutam Central can be a model lateral school so that vocational and other institutions will be built there to enhance better education. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear brother. So we'll take two more calls and go back to the minister before we go to the other subjects. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm Philippine Norrington Jr. I'm from Tommy Brad from County, precisely the campus here in St. Dominic County.
Okay.
I commend my Israel Minister Texas Zeogar briefing. He's doing well and his African government is coming well. My recommendation is more focus needs to be placed in a rural setting. That's so doing, let the MPDC be decentralized into hub or region. Like for example, Western region people can convert from Tommy Brad, St. and open to convert in Tommy Brad to be one. Similar thing in the Western region, similar thing in the North. I think more adventure will have the opportunity to participate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we, on the first segment, we're going to take this person, and then Liberians are speaking from across, and I like the way the calls are coming from different parts of the country. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Your name? Okay. Let's hear you, Sarah. Visually impaired. Wow. Okay. Okay. So let's take this guy finally. I think minister is listening. Visually impaired. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes. Your name and where you calling from?
Well, I'm calling from Grand Bassa County, Lottery District 2.
Okay, Grand Bassa. Let's hear you from the hospitable city of Buchanan. Let's hear you, brother.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. Okay, good morning, Mr. Minister.
Good morning.
I'm appealing to you for the TV organization to be decentralized within Grand Bassa County, most especially we cannot say the whole house also have. If our children, if they graduated from high school, we need for them to have skill within them. So for that reason, we are appealing to you, even moreover, it's not like you. For this given institution to be decentralized within the 73 electoral district, so our youthful population can be benefited from it. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we will take the second batch of calls. I think this is very interesting conversation about the young people, but we're sorry. We hope that OK will remain with us but they will leave us at 9 o'clock. But the program will continue here. We live on the LN TV, screaming us. We are also on many other community radio stations, as you heard the different calls coming in. So, Minister, it seems to be that, we've been worried in the past, rather, that young people need to get vocational education. But it seems that the demand is so hard. And you listen to the callers, different issues, some of them drop out, some people in complete sixth grade, how do they get involved, having a Swakopmund Central High School. Of course, the two schools that got mentioned, they are public schools. And actually, I'm a product of those two schools because I completed the 10th grade at Swakopmund Central High before moving to a Lutheran school where I graduated. So, and to be frank, that community is one of the largest in terms of education. Besides Banga, in Bong, that community has the largest number of high schools in Bong County. And to have a vocational school there, you cannot overemphasize that because there are more people graduating from high school just around that area, and a vocational school there and decentralizing, the MVDC. So you heard all of them. What are your responses, to the different queries or questions that were asked, Minister?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy for the kind of interest that young people are having in vocational education. So having TVET decentralized is a vision of the president.
Okay.
That's why I told you the president's vision is to have TVET institution in all 15 counties. We are currently having intervention in 7 counties.
Okay.
And we were able, Prof. Sonia, when I say we, I'm referring to Prof. Sonia because we are the two beneficiary ministries working with the EU. We were able to secure funding from the EU for the rest of the 8 counties.
Okay.
And Bond County is inclusive. There was an assessment done by the EU team and our team, and they visited all the 8 counties and to see various locations. And we are just waiting to get from them which are the specific area in the various counties that have been identified to have.
And that team included
Youth
Exposed, okay.
Education Ministry, and the EU.
Oh, okay.
That's where
okay.
you
team.
need to implement for the EU.
Okay.
So that was a joint team that went to all the 8
And that will answer the question for the guy from Riverside.
Absolutely. Riverside, all the 8 counties, Riverside is inclusive.
Okay.
Grand Bassa, I know for Grand Bassa it will be a RMTC.
RNTC.
I know that for a fact.
Okay. And RNTC,
So,
is it located in
compound number 1.
number 1?
Yes.
The guys are advocating for
so,
Bassa.
so to that I know will be RMTC.
Okay.
I know bombing should be CSGA High School.
CSGA, okay.
But I don't know what
Bon could be, I know they'll be looking at both.
I don't know.
I hope they take your swag also dry.
I don't know specific. But TV will be in all the counties.
Okay.
Because that's the vision of the president. And like I told you, even the person who in 6th grade will have an opportunity. Because that person may not want to continue 6th grade, but that person may be a good auto mechanic.
Okay.
And they want to develop their skills in auto mechanic. And the president believes that person will have an opportunity. So everybody.
What about those who are visually impaired? This gentleman is very passionate. Are you thinking?
That is an issue that maybe we'll discuss at the IMTF.
Okay.
Because I don't think as we speak, we have all of the technology or we have the kind of a trained manpower in place to teach folks who are visually impaired in the vocational school. I'm not sure we have that. So that's something we need to also discuss because they also need not be left behind. So that's something maybe the next IMTFM meeting, since you represent your boss on there, I hope you can remind me of that so we can discuss it and find a way to. But folks with disability are also inclusive.
Okay.
The visually impaired, the disability too as well. But I'm not sure that we have all of the materials needed to be able to train folks. We got to look deeper into that. It's worth looking into.
So let's look at specifically, the AFDB IACD program. Of course, I know a lot done about electricity, aquaculture, this whole thing about Tumutu, Let's look at it twofold. I know there are a lot of attention on Tumutu in 2 ways. One is let's make Tumutu, autonomous, have it as a university and so forth. But then the youth and sports part, I think you concentrate on is to what are the activities, currently programs that are focused on Tumutu? Because I know one of the arguments at the time was that funding was coming in, partners were going to support Tumutu. So if you made a university at the time, they will not bring the programs that they already have planned. So I know at some point we might transition. So this whole program at Tumutu and quote unquote, people wanting it to be a university in Bon County, which for me, if that happens, I'll be happy though. I've been biased on this. Yes, and I hope that at some point it can happen. But what are the programs currently at Tumutu, Minister? Because it's a very strategic part of your activities, or your programs at the ministry.
So thank you very much. What you said about Tumutu regarding funding is on course. We hope Tumutu hope to benefit from a little over 3 million
3 million.
coming from the U Rising and the French. The issue we had with Tumutu was the land.
Okay.
The land is not for government. There are 3 families that make up the land at Tumutu. And I visited Tumutu twice. We had a discussion with them, and there was an MOU crafted to be signed. Then one of the family went and got a lawyer, wrote us that they need some compensation and what have you, and we said, well, we don't have money for that. The issue here is that what will be done at Tumutu will benefit your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren to come. So giving the land is a good thing. However, we're able to, thanks to Representative Mema Menza, who have been very involved with the process.
That's her district.
That's a district. She's been very, very involved, and I really love her spirit in that county. And we finally arrived at the compromise point. It is my understanding they are due in today at 1 o'clock
Okay.
for us to sign the MOU. And once the MOU is signed, I will send that with a cover letter to the EU. And then because Tumutu has been approved from Europe already
Okay.
for work to commence, we're only waiting to make sure that we can sign the MOU and the work gets started for Tumutu. And
So both the French and the EU will be supporting programs at Tumutu.
yeah, IECD.
Okay.
IECD, they will be there in Tumutu. There will be aquaculture, like you said, and ECOWAS is coming in there too with some program that will benefit the folks of Tumutu. So I can tell you, the people in Bon County listening to me, Tumutu is on the right path. In the next few months, you will see actual work starting at Tumutu, and there'll be a lot of intervention that will benefit the youth in Salala, the youth from Kakata, the youth will come from Nimba County, or anywhere, all the surrounding counties who want to come to Tumutu. Tumutu will be a place of attraction. I can assure you, we're on course on that.
Wow. Tumutu will be a place of attraction. Because saying that, the people in Sanaya are listening to us.
Yes.
The folks in Yabaya in former district, or even in Hindi, they are listening. And I know the passion the young people have, right now for vocational education.
They will see tremendous transformation at Tumutu, I can assure you.
Okay, so that being why that is happening right now, we cannot have it as a university as was.
No, they
being
can't have
proposed.
it, and that's one of the problems that the bill had, because I'm a sector minister.
Did they consult you before?
Not at all. That was one issue we had. I was not consulted, neither was Prof. Sony. And we tried to sit with them to explain these things to them, but they wanted to move ahead. And we said, look, we can't lose the money in the Puebla
To help the young people.
because if you go with a college or university now,
It's a burden on government.
then you are going to lose all the money, because when we crafted the agreement, Tumutu was a vocational school on youth and sports. It was not a college. So why don't we allow the process takes place, let the people develop the place? And we always suggested, even the VP always said maybe we use Tumutu like a place for practicum. for the
For Bonkande Technical College.
Exactly. And we don't have a problem with that. We can work in a collaboration. But for us to lose millions of dollars coming when the government is challenged, and you're not even sure, and we look at the Bonkante, whether Bonkante Technical College, we know where it was. There was not much funding for that, and you want to add too much to that. We gotta be realistic now, and so we're not prepared to let go all that money. And like I said, Toronto in the next few months, Toronto will be a place of attraction.
I want to go and see because
And you will see.
Economic Hour will go there to see what's happening.
Yeah,
Talk
go
to
there
the.
and broadcast live
Yeah,
out
we will
there.
have one of the, especially when they are starting the program opening, we can have Economic Hour from right there.
Absolutely.
So the folks. This is a good news for us in Bond County. But Minister, I'm concerned about this election because you talk about young people who are giving some money for entrepreneurship, opening small businesses and so forth. And like I said, that's an issue because they open those small businesses, and actually small businesses are the fulcrum of any economy because they are the ones that will employ the few people. All the few people together, that it constitutes huge portion of jobs that would have already been created in the economy. So and they will also pay taxes. And that way, government will be able, once they form small businesses, they pay taxes, and it helps to carry on development in the country. So how are we doing the selection? When you go to the communities, how is it done? Do we have a process? Because people get concerned when they hear that, well, there'll be opportunities coming, but then how that opportunity filter down to the different communities, it has to be through a framework. How do you carry on, recruitment?
So we do a transparent process because the World Bank wants to make sure that the process is free and fair bias. So we have a service provider.
Okay.
We go in the very community first, get connected to the community leaders. We introduce the program to them, we talk to them, explain what the program is all about. So, if we were going to say we come to ELBC community, we want 100% from that community. We announce the day we are coming to do recruitment. There is a computer program. So people will form a queue. And the way we do it is 50-50 parity, 50 male, 50 female. And there are questions asked, and you answer the question. Because we already know from ladies, those communities that have the least poverty, that have the most poverty-driven people. So based on your response to the question asked, the community, the program will determine whether you meet that poverty standard.
And our service provider, let's just clear that,
Yeah.
are people who are not employees of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, right?
No.
Different private companies and so
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
Okay.
So the computer program will tell you that, John Brown, you meet this standard.
Okay.
So, but 100% in this community, or we get maybe 125. The next thing we do is we publish that list because nobody's going to leave for another community to come in this community. We want people in this community to look at that list and tell us, yes, all the people that come in, if you identify anybody that came from another community, then let us know. So that list will be up for like 2 weeks for the verification. Once that is done, then we go to the lotto system.
Okay.
You go
Mini
100%.
money bowl.
100%. We'll got 125. So we come back to the community, get all the people, the community leaders, everybody involved. We bring the 2 boxes, all the male in one, all the female in one. Right? Everybody watching the program. Then we'll call somebody for maybe a little child, come, pick one for in the box, you pick one for in the box.
Wow.
We're going to do that.
50-50 chance.
Yes. We're going to do that until we get 100 male, 100 female from both boxes. Wow. And those will be the ones now on the program. The rest of the people will put them on standby.
Okay.
Because there are people who may start the program, they may not end it. So if somebody drops out, we don't have to start the program over.
Okay.
We go in the reserve bag and pick somebody from there and carry, and they go through training. various life skill training, business management training, all of the training we provide for them, then they get into the program and we'll give them under the trenches.
Okay.
And the first trench was about $600, and your last trench was $300, I believe the highest setup for the small business.
So you're talking about $600 US?
They get to the $900 on a realized, but we get it in trenches. But that's how we do it for the small business component. For the public work portion of it, they get payment of $60 in 4 installments, total $240. So that they get, and they will use mobile money.
And you get
nobody
you give them tools also.
Yes,
Money to
yeah.
buy tools.
$1,125
For a
tools
group.
for the group. So the group project is to say we want to pin the sidewall. So the majority will need pin, we need bridges, what all they need. That 1,125. They will use that money to buy all the tools they want for the duration of their work. And they have a tool master who will collect the tool after every work day. And that tool they will use, the product they will use to do their work they have to do. The group of people, if 100 will put in a group of 25. So it'll be 4 different groups. Some will say we just want to maybe we want to do sidewalk painting. We want to paint this community building, and we want to give a facelift to this place. Whatever you want to do, once the team clears it, you get your tool money, buy your tools, you go into work, and we'll begin to monitor you and wear the vest we realize on it. So the process is transparent, and they know who know your business. I had a lot of people call me. I said, look, the process, I got nothing to do with it. You got to go stay in line, answer the questions. Based on your answer, the computer program will determine whether you meet the quality.
So I see the reason why not many people, have your name on the radio. That they're taking their own people. That's really good. But one thing before that, I go to the question of a gentleman who talked about different people who are in training outside of the country. Some of them come from MVDC. The minister will address that. But I just want to make a point. The money that government gives to citizens who it may be safety net, social safety net. In the economy, there are some people who are just down there at the bottom. You have to help to bring them at some level. So government will make those interventions. But guess what? Whenever government gives you a support of such, they're not free money. I hear people say they money, government money. It's not free money. For example, when we get money from the World Bank, good portion is actually loan. That means that money we're crediting. Some of them, we talk to them, and then they say, okay, we'll get the other portion of it to you free because of certain benchmark you are met. Because that's one thing the government have really been getting some goodwills from different governments and multilateral institutions like World Bank, African Development Bank, because of some of the policies that we have put in place. Government minister that used to get gasoline plenty around here, no way. Because that money has to go in your community to fix, say, a clinic there, to fix a road, and most of the projects now the president pay attention to roads. So I just want you to know that the money that Minister Zeogar Waste Ministry is giving you, you need to use it so that you are able to grow instead of you come. Because when you come back down, you are suffering the country. Because we won't lift you from one level to another. We want to remain there or you go up. Don't come back down by taking that money and go enjoy yourself. I will enjoy myself. No, I just wanted to make that very clear. So, Mr. Minister, this person was very concerned, and he talked about some of the people who go through the training there, of course. Jobs, I know that you can give them, they should go and start doing something, go to other places, form themselves and grow to start doing something on their own small, like you said, establish their own little small business or company and so forth. You can't give them all the jobs, but some of them come to you asking you for, finding a placement and so forth. So I just want you to talk about that. And also, those who were recruited and sent for training, are they product of the different training you've been having, or people from different areas? Because God was concerned about people who went to China and other places,
So thank you. First of all, at no time did we tell students that graduated for MVDC, over 1,000 of them, that the government provide job for you.
Okay.
what we did was to call a meeting to be able to get a database of all of the TVET graduates from MVDC. And so as government carry on their projects, we are able to identify some of them and put them there. For instance, we work closely with LACE, Library Agents for Community Empowerment, LACE. You see the Joba market? We are almost 35 of our TVET graduates that work to build a Joba market.
Pinsville Joba?
No, the Joba market, Oro Joba.
Oh, Oro,
When Pepsi bid out, all 25 of our TV graduates, we sent them there. He requested that.
And they did that excellent job?
Yeah, they were among those that bid that market. And Pepsi have been using it in different locations. That's why we requested them to come, so at least we can look at our database and be able to assign them.
Okay.
So that's what we have been doing.
Okay.
Now, at no time did we send 100 persons to China. The China Vocational Institute in China wanted us to send 5 students there.
Only 5?
5. So it's the law. Why don't we work with you, send 5 of your instructors to come to Liberia and be able to impart more people in advanced training than sending just 5 persons to China?
Which you spend a lot of money
and
on.
thankfully, the university agreed.
Okay.
They sent 5 instructors that came down, and they were able to train 120 of our TVET graduates in advanced training. I believe it was electricity, plumbing, and I think another trade I can't quite remember. There were 3 different trades. They were empowered, 120 of them. Imagine sending 5 persons to China, and they seen people send 5 other technicians here, teachers, they were able, and those children graduated at one MVDC. We participated in the graduation with the Chinese ambassador then, and they were all awarded their advanced certificate in the various discipline. So we did not send anybody to China, 100% to China. No, we did not. We have been sending people to China, but on a very low scale. Like for instance, we're able to send people to China to learn stadium management. Well, under that, we are to send our manager from the stadium, SKD.
Okay.
We send our other ATS.
Okay.
You know, those who were involved in managing ATS and the SKD were the folks we sent in a limited number of people. We sent 5 persons to Nigeria in 2019 to learn advanced training in plumbing.
Okay.
You know, so these little training we've been sending people to do, but we didn't send 100% anywhere. We instead asked the university to come here, and they came here and they conducted the training for 120 of our TVET graduates at MVDC.
Wow.
And they graduated and they got an advanced certificate.
Wow, that's good. So, but Mr. Minister, there are a lot of different institutions, whether in Monrovia or outside. Normally, when they graduate, you don't find jobs for them, which is true. And I'm really happy that you intend to add the entrepreneurship component to the training, so that as people graduate, they already have some hands-on idea as to how they could start their own process. Because I'm really, really moved by an EU project that Lighting Monrovia, right? And that project actually absorbed students who are graduated in electricity. Some of them were still senior students. And guess what, Mr. Minister? Those young folks, today, some of them have their own companies. And what those companies are doing now, they take contracts from the Ghanaian, other bigger companies or Indians, you know, in some instances, who get contracts from the EU or the World Bank projects and so forth. So they're subcontracted. And I tell you, one of the guys told me, he said, you know, right now, if you look at my total assets now, it's more than 400,000. And I was like, are you killing? So do you send a list of, you know, the different trained people to different institutions? Just, you know, we got this group of people who are graduated, just in case you need somebody, you know, just as a way of at least selling them, you know, not assuring them, you know,
No, we don't do that, but I think as a result of the meeting we had the last time, there's a need for us to coordinate with the labor ministry and
yes,
such.
labor.
But on talking on the issue of electricity, under the French 10 billion project with IECD, we identified one of the private institutions, Don Bosco.
Okay, yes.
And a lot of electricity.
Yeah.
And Don Bosco has a very
And
robust
Don Bosco is a private.
private,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we identified that they are one of the beneficiary institutions on the French funding that coming along with, I believe, Harvard multilateral.
And I heard about
Uh,
LIC. You did a program.
Yeah,
at
LOIC, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Don Bosco and LOIC,
LOIC.
both LOIC, Morovia and Buchanan
Yes,
are
yes.
beneficiary institutions from the French intervention in Liberia. We identify those institutions. So we're not just looking at strictly government institutions, we are looking at some private, and those were the two that we really identified. I know Don Bosco has a very robust electrical program, electricity program, so they are also beneficiary institutions, Don Bosco.
Okay, but then that's good. I think the minister is thinking, sometimes if somebody doesn't speak to you about what they're doing, sometimes you wouldn't know that that person has a lot of work that they've done and with young people. So the Realize project is supposed to benefit, how many thousand?
It's 19,000.
19,000
That number
people.
will increase because of the additional financing.
19,000 young people
Yeah,
will be enrolled into the program.
The program already started.
Okay.
We already did the first 2,500 honor the component 2
Okay.
do with the public works, and then the business part of it we already did 1,003 on the first round. Now we're about to start second round recruitment. as
Okay.
well. So the program I think effect already, but as a result of the additional financing,
The number will
increase
increase.
and they will go to other counties.
So it will not just be
yet-
Monrovia now?
No.
Okay.
No,
Wow.
I believe we have, I believe all of the counties with the exception, we consider the money that come from the French and the Swedish. We are looking at all of the counties with the exception of Maryland.
Maryland.
And the only reason why Maryland is an exception because most of the cash transfer is part of Realize now.
Yeah.
Because we brought in gender ministry. So this 20 million that come in, 16 million will be cash transferred to some counties in the southeast.
To beneficiaries.
Yes,
16 million.
cash transfer on the ministry agenda. And so
President, we are.
there is an intervention for Maryland County on our World Bank project, I believe. Similarly, so we can't have duplication of the same thing in our county. So that is why Maryland County is not captured because most of this intervention in the south, it will be cash transfer, and Maryland County already doing a form of cash transfer.
Yeah, I know there's huge money going to Maryland for one of the partners that they are going to be targeting the entire Maryland. I think that assessment was done, and then in terms of looking at
So
poverty,
16 million more cash transfer on a Realize
yeah, so
to
that-
the ministry agenda.
that's a huge sum of money,
Absolutely.
and that's going to focus on the young people.
Well, Realize is not predominantly a young people program.
It's
It's a combination.
general, yeah, but you in there, so the young people will have to become.
Oh no,
by,
they are, yeah,
by,
but
by
they
the
are-
time you
they are-
speak,
they are more because of our youth population.
okay.
Young people are more on the program, but other age group are also involved that are not youth.
Wow.
That I would say beneficiary instead of saying youth beneficiary.
So it's just beneficiaries.
Yes, open to because it was meant for COVID intervention.
Okay.
Those counties that were affected by COVID, that were the intervention is going. That's why we started with Monserrado County because Monserrado County was mostly affected than any other county with COVID. So
Okay.
now we're going to other counties now, bombing, other counties, all will benefit, with the exception of Maryland because there's a program in Maryland already, so we can't duplicate program there.
Okay, so we go into a very, very important part of your work as a minister for the young people in this country. My daughter is an ambassador for mental health. She had gone through a training at Carter Center, this program, young men who got a grant from the president's program in the U.S. Barack Obama started that program, Young African Leadership. So to go there, get training, and then you come do something in your community. And she has made me to really get a lot of interest in how we help the young people. And now that's the point where you have the program, the Outreach Youth program. Our young people, I see them. There's a serious problem with the young people across this country. That group that been involved and they've been exposed to different things like drugs and so forth. So and they are part of us. What are you doing? You have the Outreach Youth Program. Where are we now, Mr. Minister?
Thank you very much. You know, when you have a leader who is strategic, as President we are, who is a master planner and design for things he do, you got to always follow his footsteps, how he does things. The issue of at-risk youth is dear to the heart of the president. And he's always said this is not a political issue. This is a national issue that should involve everybody. Now, we are not going to craft a program under this president that will be poorly done or done in a way that does not meet the target. And so I hear people talk all the time, oh, what are you doing with the young people? But guess what? At-risk youth did not come about under this administration.
Yeah, sure. It's been long.
And had there been any program put in place prior to this administration, we would have come in to either continue it, modify it, and keep going with it. We did not have any. So we have been planning because government has competing priorities. You will know it better than I do.
So many.
And that is why we are working with development partners to make sure that this program is developed, is crafted. And when it gets started officially, tomorrow after President, we are 12 years. I say 12 because I'm confident the librarian
That he gets reelected.
another 6 years. Whoever comes in our office has a program to work with and continue. So what have we done so far? Since the president launched the program, the fundraiser on June 30th, we have constituted a joint committee, a steering committee that is being co-chaired by myself and the UN resident coordinator.
Okay.
We've also constituted a secretariat. We have constituted a technical working group that is led by Dr. Jala. The UNFPA and the UNICEF hired 2 consultants, one international and one national, to do mapping of the at-risk youth in all counties because we wanted fresh information. That mapping exercise was concluded sometime last week. We are waiting to get the report. The UN had committed 1.5 million.
Okay.
President Weah had committed 1 million in the last budget year and 2 million in the budget year moving forward.
That will be 3 million.
Yeah. So we are on course. We are putting together a plan, and to show to demonstrate that the president meant what he said, and he's a talk and do. We recently graduated close to 32 at-risk youth that he took on his own volition, with our own support to him. Young people were at Vamoma House. There's a ghetto around there.
Yeah, at the back.
Yes, he took 32 of them from there, sent them to ES Grant and the other group in Marshall. We went to the graduation. Those young people have been graduated. We have identified 3 institutions for them to go into learn vocational education. Funding has been made available for the young people to start their vocational technical education. He's also making plans to take some folks at our clay facility in Bombay County. So the president talking do.
That's actually his own initiative.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He says, Zeogar, I'm
Leading by
telling you,
example.
I'm leading this thing. You got to follow my footsteps. So we are working with the UN and our development partners, and we are on course. Even the EU is on board with all. There have been some intervention in the trade shop at the Youth Agricultural Training Center in Bensonville because they will want to transform to be the at-risk, play for the at-risk youth. So we are on course. And I'm happy to have a daughter who has a passion for mental health. And part of our intake, these are all things we look at because these folks are not just on drugs, but they are other underlying sicknesses that they have that we have to address.
That's true.
And mental health is part of that. And, so there's a whole host of things that we'll be doing with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Gender in terms of psychosocial counseling. And I was so impressed when I went to the program and seeing those kids, those children, video before they got into the program and after. If you see some of the children after the program, I'm telling you,
They need to be seeing those videos
they
every night.
themselves saw it. In fact, when they showed them on the video, then the person was stand up to see them now. And we were like, wow. And so the president is leading by example. He's holding our feet to the fire to say, my man, I'm moving ahead of you. I'm waiting for you to come. And we are planning. And I'm telling you, the UN on board, that's a good thing. Because we need everybody on board, hands on deck. And we get it done. And once we get it started, everybody will see it. But we are in the planning stages. And we are in the planning stages, and I'm sure we're getting there.
So on this steering committee, I don't know why you brought, of course, you mentioned health. MFDP will always be there. But you have the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Public Works, Ministry of Gender, for example, of course, you've exposed you there. So why, of course, the UN agency, you have many of them.
Ministry of Labor.
Yeah, Ministry of Labor also.
Justice,
You also have Liberia National Police,
the LDE,
Liberia Drug Enforcement,
Yeah,
Liberia
all these things.
Repatriation and
RRRC.
yes, all of them
Yeah,
there. And then you have the UN agency like UNFPA, UN Women. So why conglomeration? Even WHO and all, you brought them.
because they are all part of one UN system. Every institution that is part of a one UN system, once the one UN system is on board, they are all on board. They all have their very real role to play. The same with the government entities. Every government entity on that list has a role to play with at-risk youth, has a role to play with young people. And, labor ministry is there, employment, education is there. We run TVET. We are education. And under the program, education is the lead in the TVET and the TVET part of it. Gender is there, psychosocial counseling. Okay, it's part of it. Health is there because they have to do with health. Agriculture is there because part of our intervention being agriculture, TVET, and they have to be on board. So every institution that is on there has a role to play. It's not the Ministry of Youth and Sports. That's why we brought everybody in there. It's a teamwork, it's a collaborative effort. And I'm telling you, we're making tremendous progress because the mapping was very, very important.
So do we expect something to begin? I know the president has started the ball rolling.
Yeah, something will begin. In fact, we
so-
have a work plan.
Okay.
We have a work plan, and I just spoke to your boss 2 days ago. And once we get our salary business off the way, we're moving into approving some funding
To begin.
on the government side, so we can start to address it with the work plan that we have put together. But we are on the right trajectory.
Okay.
Look, to build something, to destroy something is easy, but to build it, it's a process.
Rebuild is a
Yes,
problem.
a process. And this has to do with people's lives, where young people want to transform. And this transformation will not take 1 year. It will not take 2 years because there are many.
Many. I'm
So
hearing over
the
100,000.
important thing is for us to get started and have a program in place, well clearly defined program in place that will just keep going in the circle. And once the CSA, and mind you, there are some churches and organizations that are intervening with some of the young people. And we need to also provide those young people that are going through their own form of cleansing some opportunities. We are looking at that seriously. We are holding discussion with the World Bank on that. How do we fit them into some other program and other partners? So there are so many things that we are doing. And once we get started, the press will know. But we are working. We're not just sitting
That's very, very a very good point that he just made, and I was very impressed when I saw the Johan, being represented in that meeting from the Swedish embassy, the steering committee
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah, that tells you how much effort being put in place to bring all the stakeholders on the table. And I saw Neil Scott, how passionate he is. He's a UN country representative here.
Resident
Coordinator, sorry, here in Liberia. And so he was very, very passionate about some of the decisions you've taken to get everybody on board. So it's something that everybody is concerned about, and I know a lot of people. So we take our second rounds of call, then the minister will be closing on this lengthy discussion into the youth sector. That's the sector that everybody, the country should move forward. And Minister, just before we take the call, I get really, really worried. The village I come from, of course, I'm a farmer. And we observed that many of the young people are actually migrating from the community. And that's what I told the agriculture minister the other day. We need to do something about how we keep the young people in those communities. And you just mentioned encouraging them to stay where they are. But they are leaving the community, so to even find people to work. So we accept mechanization where you find people come from elsewhere to come and invest. Even if they invest, you need people to operate those machines, and some of them they'll be in the work. But many of our young people are actually using the motorbikes now. And I was saying to a few of them recently, look, you can ride a motorbike and still, go to school. And then after school, you ride a motorbike. Either you go to, we were talking the other day about night school with Professor Sodi and other people. How do we reintroduce that? Because it's a very serious thing. So I don't know whether you any idea of targeting that kind of group of people. They got income, of course. Nobody should say they don't employ. That's a form of employment. You understand? You get your own motorbike, yes, but then what's about the future of them? So I just wanted to, do we have any way of at some point, whether working with a motorbike union or so forth, to see how we can start to talk to the young people? Yes, you can ride a motorbike. If you ride a motorbike in the morning, in the afternoon go to school, or you go to school in the morning and then in the afternoon you get on your back. Is there any idea or, any intention of beginning engagement with that union and see how, because many of the young people, by the time 15, 16 years, they want to go start riding motorbike.
So I think there's a need to begin such a discussion with the union, because that is not a career path for a young person. Especially so if you don't have a vision. There is nothing wrong with starting as a motorbike rider. And I say this, I always bring my own story into it. When I went to the United States 2000 to further my education, I left from here with a bachelor's degree in economics, former assistant minister. And I'm not ashamed to say this. I say all the time to motivate young people. The first job I had in the United States, I was a janitor.
Some people say, what? I should leave from here and be janitor
I
in
was a
America.
janitor. But was that where I wanted to see myself? Absolutely not. But I had to put my foot in the door. I had responsibility. I had to start from somewhere. And you know where I ended up? I was Chief Executive Officer for National Caregiver Services,
My God.
a social services group in Willowbrook, Pennsylvania. And so I tell people, starting riding motorbike is not bad. Maybe because you got some challenges, you want to get things done. But think about it. Is it where you want to be?
Forever?
Fine. That is what the problem is. And that's why we hold a discussion. You can start riding a motorbike, but develop your talent. Go to school. Because that motorbike, you get accident and break one of your limbs. You may not be able to ride again. What becomes of you? The same is true with some of us who play football. When I was playing football, I had the talent, but I had no desire of being a professional player. I was playing it because I loved the game and I had the talent. That's why I went to school, because I knew one day I may not be able to play because of age or because of injury.
Yes.
And thankfully, I did not get injured while playing, but I've aged. And I'm not Minister of Youth and Sport today because I'm a former national team player. I play for Whiteborough. No.
You went to school.
I went to school. I have a master's degree. I went to school. So that is why it's important for us to hold a discussion with the young folks who are riding the pimping. You can use that as your entry point, but it shouldn't be your end point. You must focus on something big for you and your family tomorrow because you're in a risky business. And that risky business, you need to have a plan B.
Your motorbike will even get stolen.
Exactly.
You come to
So
square
it's a
one.
discussion we need to have with the leadership and find a way to encourage them to get into the vocational schools and learn something. You pack your motorbike, you go to school for 1 or 2 hours, get out of there on a daily basis, you're still going wrong. Most of them driving for themselves. They're working for people. If you're working for somebody, I swear that person will understand. How you put in 1,000 every day? I mean, you get it.
Minister, just to bring in this point, the two gentlemen that I brought to Monrovia at the MVDC, the two of them are motorcyclists. And that's why this conversation is very important.
Very important.
The other guy is very smart. Right now, he's like an assistant to the teacher in heavy-duty mechanic there. He builds his own stuff and so forth, right? He was the head of the motorcyclists in SKT. And the other guy was also riding motorbike. So there are about 5 should have come, but one passed, peace be to his ashes, and the other 2, for some reason, they said they would join later. But guess what? Those guys came and packed their motorbike. They got their motorbike at the place there because they own the dorm.
Yeah.
Weekends, they go ride their motorbike. And they are in school.
So they should send her as an ambassador to the folks in SKT.
That's true.
Go back to the gentlemen who all ride motorbike. Some of them are in school. You can't join, let go to school. The dormitory there, we will put most of them there that want to come to school.
Yeah.
That's what the dormitory is there for. Nobody paying rent to anybody in that dormitory. But at least they come for all the time, they have a place to sleep. You find your own food. Your own.
Yeah.
But at least these guys you serve are ambassador. And this is the discussion we need to have.
I agree with you, Minister. So we'll now take the calls on 080-514-096. 080-514-096. Very insightful conversation here with the Minister for Youth and Sports. And I'm so impressed that the government of Liberia, President, we have been, exemplary president, taking the lead with the outbreaks use thing. I think it's to his heart, just as the minister himself has that. The Minister of Finance too. Every time we talk, my boss always mentioned about how we handle this issue, and I think that's something that we need to put our mind to. So we begin to take the calls now on 080-514-096 here on ELBC and many other radio stations across the country. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay, my dear brother. Your name and where you calling from?
Brother, I'm NG Desmond Copeland. I'm calling from Plebo, Maryland County.
Plebo, Maryland County. Let's hear you, brother.
Thank you very much for following the show this morning. And I want to really appreciate it, Minister, you this morning. Minister, thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning.
I heard you talk about Maryland. What is doing is when you said Maryland is not part of, not program Maryland will be part. Minister, I beg you, I'm for Maryland to be part. Because the youth in Maryland, many of our friends here are involved in running motorcycles. Some of them are 14 years, 15 years, they started running motorbikes. And the Zopos here dominated the entire youth in our district, more terribly where I live. So I want to talk about all means to include people safety in your program. Or else, 3 years from now, this place will not get no control.
So let me just provide clarity. Maryland is part of the program we are undertaking. In fact, the TVET, the model ladder there is part of it. Yeah, Maryland is part of it. I only said the cash transfer. There's a program on our that we're doing cash transfer. That we're sending money
The
to
60
vulnerable
million.
people. That's 16 million. Maryland is not part of that because there's already a similar program in Maryland County.
Yeah, that it will cover the entire Maryland. So that's a lot of money going to Maryland.
They already have similar program. We can't duplicate that program. But for the vocational school, Maryland County is the beneficiary as well.
Okay. That's a clarity the minister made. The Marylanders are very. Nobody wants to be left behind. Okay, so we'll take 2 or 3 more calls and 080-514-096. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name?
My name is Ezekiel Lee Perry Bennett, and I joined this morning from Riyadh.
Okay, go ahead.
So I want to use this time to explain things to the youth and minister and taking on your own time to really explain to us their work in time past. I think we all have a vision to better the country. But I'm appealing to him for the youth to be decentralized. That is the civil program to be decentralized, because if you go to my own lower Mina, you will get to know that most of the youth, they are just vulnerable. Some of them, they are out of, they are high school dropped out. They are just into hunting, and they can be, studying into another program. Some of them can even do carpentry, masonry, and other things, but because there's no trade around there, they are into hunting. Some of them are pretty right motorbike as their career. So there is decentralized youth program that is decentralized, so that other youth from Grand East, Sano, William, and the rest of the counties will see your path. Not only in NCCI and NCCC will only be the youth.
Okay, I think the point has been made. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chow.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling from?
Okay, my name is Daniel Brown. I come from Vaughan County. I'm one of the volunteers for the Ministry of Youth and Sport in Banga.
Okay, so let's hear you, Mr. Brown.
Yes, let me say hi to the Honorable Minister. My main concern have been drawn to the A4AD program, so I want the Minister to throw some light on it.
Okay. All right. And while you're trying, like you're talking about the volunteer program we had before, what are we thinking about bringing that back again? Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, and where are you coming from?
Yeah, this is Samoa Michelle, all from
Ghana, Mr. Michelle. Let's hear you.
Let me appreciate the minister in studio this morning for the level of work done so fast. I have a question for the minister concerning the arranged youth program.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so we have been hearing from some guys concerning our payment, the temporary problem. I want you to please explain about that.
Okay.
The payment of the temporary youth empowerment.
Okay. All right, thank you. Payment for. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tao.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah, I've listened to the minister, and the minister has said a lot of things, but I want to please ask the minister and to also recommend to him that we are youth in a rural community that are involved in the agriculture. I want for the minister to please include some of the youthful organizations that send you.
Youthful organization. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, we are involved in the agricultural activities.
Where?
In Bangabong County.
Oh, okay. The Banga people want you there, oh, Minister? Okay. Good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning, my brother. Your name and where you calling from?
Mr. Sao, thank you so much this morning for hosting the Ewa Pute Minister this morning. I'm Chitomu Molba calling from Bong County.
Okay, that the youth and sport man, my man, what's up?
Man, thank you so much. Following our Ewa Pute Minister this morning, he is not sugarcoating. Whatsoever that Minister Wilson has said on the radio this morning is factual. We all follow it. We just completed the survey from UNFPA on the at-risk youth.
even send him some video to see what we are going through here. And what I want to say to him, he have a lot to do. He should have the monitoring evaluation system into place to follow the projects that we're doing as county coordinator in our Brevard County. Because, some of these things happen. If you not mail people who work in the system, you don't know exactly what they are doing there. So I want to urge our minister to have a monitoring evaluation system in all of the 15 counties to ensure, because this project that we are about to do now, especially for UNICEF, it's a big project, and we have impact in the life of thousands of young people. We have done the survey, we have done all the work, and we on the training, as I speak to you, we'll be going to Ghana tomorrow to have our own training. Cluster 2 will be starting tomorrow in Ghana. So I want to say thank you to the minister. He is not sugarcoating. He said exactly what he is doing. I want to say a big thanks to the entire team at the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Thank you this morning.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so very much from Banga, Bon County. Banga is kind of dominating with, let's take this last caller, then the minister will close. Good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning, my brother. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Abaku Proud, calling from Maryland County, Cleveland City to be specific.
Okay, Mr. Prague, go ahead.
Yeah, I listened to the minister say that for Maryland County, Maryland has already, another program. But what I want to say is that the issue of vocational school is actually what Maryland County needs, because if you look at the condition of Maryland County, even the money that he's talking about is not everybody receiving it. And those receiving the money are not young people. Our young people, our youth are still, vulnerable. Some riding motorbike, some are still, smoking and doing all the things here. So what we need is vocational school to help the young people. The money he's talking about that people receiving, young people are not receiving no money. Sometimes like that, all people are different people receiving the money. So what will benefit the youth of tomorrow is what we are talking about.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, Mr. Minister, we have just 3 minutes to conclude. You heard, this tells you how eager your young people are across Liberia. Before this, before the people go to school, but right now, people won't go there. They want the opportunities. And you listen to all the calls, and one of them talk about the A4AD program, and someone wants you to talk about payment of temporary youth employment program, and then some want you to include agriculture in even with their rich youth, and once they are taken care of, rehabilitated, how do they get skills and so forth. I think you mentioned some of that, but the issue of decentralizing vocational education, you already talked about that it will be in all of the counties. So those are the calls that came, and how can you respond?
Well, thank you, and let me again provide another clarity to the people of Maryland County. Maryland County has not been left out of the program. There is a vocational education training school in Maryland County, and Maryland County has one of the multilaterals, I believe. And
Okay.
They are there. They are also
Going to benefit.
They also have they have a state of the art equipment.
Okay.
And, in the southeast, all the multilaterals, they are amongst the 6 interventions that I told you about. And
Okay.
Maryland County is not an exception. I was only talking about the cash transfer program that Maryland already has. We can't duplicate cash transfer in Maryland.
Okay.
And to speak generally on everything is, I appreciate the interest of the young people who have called. I think Prof. Sony and I have to double our efforts
Yes.
to make sure that the rest of the 8 counties have their vocational school up and running, because everyone is eager to get vocational education, which is a good thing. And so I want to thank you for having me here today. And I look forward to coming any other time.
Okay.
And one final note I want to close on that we didn't talk about, had to do with sports,
Okay.
had to do with the new national team coach,
Okay.
Mr. Keita, that I've read a lot of things on the internet. And I just want to sound a word of caution to my colleagues that we play together who have been amongst the critics of this coach or his selection per se. I asked everyone, let's give him a chance. They were there before, they were coaches. They played their part. And now he is the head of the team. Let's wish him the best, because if he fails, Liberia fail.
Yeah, okay.
He had demonstrated his competence on our youth team. and that's why LFA's committee saw the fit to select him. Let's give him his time.
Thank you very
so
much, Mr. Minister. This has been Economic Hour here on ELBC from the Department of Economic Management at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Thanks to Minister Samuel Tuwe, Minister Augustus Floman, and all the team members. And our folks here at LBS, the Managing Director, Estella Liberto Camus. She's been doing this exceptionally well. We're going to be here next week with the National Housing Authority. The head of the Housing Authority will be here. We'll be talking about housing, what kind of investment have gone into that sector. Until next week, I've been James Double Nakula Sao.